Thanks, Wendy. And thank everybody for being here this morning. You know, we are, first of all, thrilled to be here and have this conversation with you. And we're also very proud and thrilled to be one of your gold sponsors. So, like Wendy said, we have supported you in most of the villages in this area. And we know that, you know, you're one of our great partners, and we want to continue that relationship. So I will, on behalf of my colleagues, again, thank you for having us. I'll introduce myself. I'm Eileen Spinella. I am the Community Outreach Marketing Manager for Goodwin Hospice. So I work specifically on the hospice team, and I'll be talking to you a little bit about hospice later on today. I've been with Goodwin House. It will be 3 years in January. Prior to that, you know, I pretty much have done everything in the senior world in this area. Just a great career and in this area, providing services for seniors. I hope to continue to do it for much longer. So with that said, I will let Beth and Carrie introduce themselves.
Well, good morning. My name is Beth Robinson. I am the Director of Member Services for Goodwin Living at Home. Although we are at home and serve members in their homes in the community, we are still very much a part of Goodwin Living. I see one of my favorite members on, Miss Connie Sorrentino, and I should say and Anna Sorrentino as well, who are dual members. So thank you for joining.
Carrie?
Good morning. My name is Carrie May, and I'm the administrator for Goodwin Home Health. So I've been with the Goodwin Living organization for 2 years. I've been a registered nurse for 24 years. And in the past 15 years, my background has been with senior communities, skilled nursing facilities, and doing outreach and coordinating for community, seniors in the community.
Great, thank you. So I want to ask Beth to share a screen. We have a little bit of the presentation, but you know, since this is coffee and conversation, you know, we want this to be a two-way conversation. So feel free to ask any questions as we go along. Okay. So Beth, if you could just the first slide. Yeah, I just want to talk about Goodwin Living. I'm sure people are catching on that we rebranded. We made that announcement in June of this year. We have been Goodwin House for 55 years. And thanks to residents, members, team members, community partners like yourselves, everyone has been a part of our history as Goodwin House. We have developed new services and programs. We now provide care and services that reach well beyond our own campuses. Today, we serve over 2,500 older adults with our senior living and healthcare services such as hospice, home health, rehabilitation, and our continuing care program. So we have a new name, but we are still the same community partner with the same mission, vision, and approach. So our mission has always been to support, honor, and uplift the lives of older adults and the people who care for them. Our vision is to expand the places and ways we serve older adults. And our approach, we're a non-for-profit, faith-based senior living and healthcare organization. We ensure that we can all thrive and live our lives with purpose at any age. So I'm sure you're all familiar with our life plan communities. Goodwin House Alexandria has opened in 1967. It was our first planned community. Bailey's Crossroads opened in 1987, and it was our second life plan community. And we are now showing this whole continuum of care as Goodwin Living. So Alexandria, Bailey's Crossroads, home care. We have recently, as of August, purchased what used to be called the Hermitage in Alexandria. And I know you guys must be aware of that. I know that property, that's been around a long time. We renamed it the View of Alexandria. So we welcome them into our Goodwin Living family, and they are our first rental type of property. It's not a life plan community. And then the services down below on that bottom line, we're going to be talking a little bit more about those today. They are what we call part of now our home and community-based services of Goodwin Living. So we have Goodwin Living at Home, Goodwin Rehabilitation, Goodwin Home Health, and Goodwin Hospice. So again, these are our campus living and lifestyle with Goodwin House, Alexandria, Bailey's Crossroads, and The View. Once again, the Alexandria and Goodwin House, Bailey's Crossroads, they're a life care or fee-for-service contract, so it's more of a continuing care retirement community, where The View of Alexandria by Goodwin Living is a month-to-month rental community.
Eileen, could you tell us how many residents there are in each of these facilities?
So I know that between Goodwin and Alexandria and Bailey's Crossroads, I believe we have about 1,000 residents, equally about 500 in each one of those. I think that's correct. Gary, I'm not sure about Goodwin, about The View Alexandria. I don't know if Carrie or Beth have any numbers on that, but I can find out for you. It's a big community. I'm just not aware of how many residents there
I
are.
heard it was about the same, Eileen, around 500.
Okay.
Eileen, it's
Yes.
Wendy, and you know, I think with everybody else on the call listening in and learning, could you talk a little bit more about the difference between The View and the other two Goodwin houses? I think you mentioned that
Sure.
The View is a rental community.
Yeah, so the Goodwin House, Alexandria, and Goodwin House, Bailey Crossroads, they're what they call life care or life plan communities. So when people enter into either one of those residences, it is there's a contract. There's an entrance fee and monthly fees that gives them if you're coming in independently, then you're covered with independent living, assisted living, memory support. So you have all those services available to you. With The View, it is strictly a rental month-to-month community. So those are the differences. Does that clarify that, Wendy?
Yeah, and you still have, but you have services available at The View that people would be able to purchase if they need.
Yeah, so they have a bit of continuum as well.
Mhm.
They have independent assisting and long-term nursing care. So the only point there's no upfront entrance fee. It's people are coming in, they probably make a deposit or a community fee, whatever, I'm not sure what they call it. And then they go month to month. And as
Great.
they move from service to service, that month to month fee changes.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
When I see something
No,
new, it's just an opportunity to sort of drill down a little deeper.
Thank you for that question. It's a good one.
We have another related question.
Yes.
Besides the fee plan, what's different about the services at The View versus the other places?
Well, I now that Goodwin is operating and owns the View, they will have access to everything that the Bailey's Crossroads and Alexandria residents have access to.
Okay.
So they will have access to hospice care, home health care, rehabilitation, and then everything associated with activities of daily living, nursing care. So they will have everything available to them. It's just, it's a different setting. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So what, again, our mission with these home and community-based services is very similar to what your philosophy and the village philosophy is. We want to be able to maintain people where they want to be in their homes. So we're able to do that now in a good way with these programs, Goodwin Living at Home, and Beth's going to talk a little bit about that. Goodwin Home Health, providing home health services and rehabilitation in the home, and Carrie is going to talk about that. And then obviously hospice, home hospice care, and I will talk a little bit about that.
Okay. So Goodwin Living at Home is what is referred to as a continuing care at home model. There are about 36 at-home programs across the nation. Goodwin Living at Home was the first in Virginia. The other at-home program is in the Tidewater area and it's associated with Riverside. So with Goodwin Living at Home, our goal is to maintain, we call them members, our members in their own homes. We cover from DC all the way out. I have a member who is in Charlottesville. So all of the territory in between, we cover that area. So the at-home program has two components to it. One is, of course, the sales portion of the program. It is a membership-based program. So our members buy into the program. There are 5 financial plans that each of our members can choose. We have 223 members as of the 30th of September. So each member is able to choose from one of our 5 financial plans. Those financial plans are almost like a savings or look very much like long-term care insurance. We do have members that have long-term care insurance. So some of our plans work very well with long-term care insurance. If any of you have long-term care insurance, you know that you must meet your elimination period, which is usually about 90 days. And you need 2 activities of daily living to be able to access your benefit. With Goodwin Living at Home, you only need assistance with 1 activity of daily living. And there's no waiting period. So when you call, they're all social workers, which is my team, and I'm a social worker by trade. When you contact my team, they will put care and services in place for you in your home. We also partner with the villages. Each of the villages, if you are a member of Goodwin Living at Home and one of the DC or Virginia villages, we pay, some are a little different, but mostly I think for Arlington Neighborhood Village is $200 towards your membership fee each year. We also partner with Virginia Hospital Center, offer the Lifeline pendant. You have access to the programs and services in our Lifeline communities. Just a lot of different things that we offer, but the main goal of Goodwin Living at Home is to keep our members as safe and as healthy as possible as they age in their home. I do want to say that when I say the word home, that does not necessarily mean your home in the community. We have members who live at Goodwin Living, one of the Life Plan communities. We have members who live at Green Springs and the Virginian and the Kensington. So we partner with those other communities because some of the plans can be used, the daily rate can be used to cover room and board for assisted living, nursing care, and memory support. So that is Goodwin Living in a nutshell. It's a very intense and very expanded program to explain. And I'm sure Ms. Connie as a member can answer some questions from the member side.
We all have to unmute for a second here as we think about a question. My apologies. Did I understand correctly? You talked about long-term care and about the fact that many maybe or all long-term care have those waiting periods before the benefit can kick in. Did you say or suggest that if we're associated with Goodwin Living at Home, you can shorten that period? As well as reduce the 2 activities of daily living down to 1?
So if you are a member of Goodwin Living at Home, your Goodwin Living at Home benefit begins when you need 1 assistance with 1 activity of daily living. And a good example of that can be, say you fall, you need a hip replacement or hip surgery. When you go home, usually that's a short-term need, not a long-term like you would use to initiate your long-term care insurance. So it's a very short need. So once you go home from the hospital, we set up based on the financial plan that you've chosen to put care in your home immediately. We are also asked, especially because we partner with the villages, what's the biggest difference? A lot of the things that we do also overlap. We decided in 2014 when we started to partner with the villages to access more of a socialization piece for our members, especially because they're, spread so far out. But the biggest piece is the care coordination, because we advocate for our members from hospital stays to short-term nursing to transition to a nursing home or assisted living, memory support, whatever that looks like. So that is one of the bigger differences. But it would be with the use of your Goodwin Living at Home benefit that starts before you initiate your long-term care insurance.
So somebody's asking, so this is a program that you join first in anticipation of a future need.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks.
Beth, I know at one point.
I can offer something about that. This is Connie here. I'm a member of Goodwin Living at Home, and I've been a member for about 5 or 6 years. And I joined not because I needed it at the time, but as a peace of mind security blanket that in the event that I need help, I know it's there for me.
Beth, I'm sure you'll get to this before the end of the presentation, but if people want to learn more, does Goodwin Living at Home do sort of open Zoom presentations that drill down into more detail? Is it talking one-on-one with a counselor? I know at one point we were going to events on site at Bailey's Crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process now?
So we do offer virtual if you're not comfortable going out. We have been offering 2 events per month in person. It's usually, I think our last one was at Bellhaven. We have one tonight that is out in Brambleton, Virginia. It's an evening program, but if you visit goodwinliving.org, the website, and go to the tab that says events, you will see the marketing and the sales events listed for Goodwin Living at Home and for the Life Plan communities.
Great, thank you.
Okay. I will move on and turn it over to Carrie.
Good morning, everyone. So for our service lines that assist patients or residents or clients that need a transition of care, whether it's because they've had a decline in, their ability to perform activities of daily living, or if they are transitioning from a hospital or skilled nursing facility to a home, that's where home health and the Goodwin Rehabilitation comes into place. So we'll focus first on the rehab because the rehab is offered in our campuses. It is limited as well to outpatient services for the at-home members. With rehab, that is when someone lives in a building, one of our Goodwin campuses, and either a doctor sees that they've had a decline, a caregiver sees that they've had a decline, or the patient just feels that they would like to get stronger. So what we offer is physical therapy, occupational therapy, and cognitive and speech therapy. With those types of services, we have the client come in or the resident come in. They have an evaluation and we set the frequency of how often we're going to see them. We also set goals. What were they doing prior to their decline? Were they walking outside and now they're limited to the building? Were they able to be able to eat, certain meals, and now they notice that they're having swallowing difficulty? Were they able to go out and play cards with their friends, and now they notice that there's a little bit of a memory deficit? We look at those items, and based on those items and what they want their goals to be is how often we will see them. Through our rehab services, that is something that is covered under insurances. So Medicare is typically the primary insurance that we use, but our rehab does need to see whether or not their other insurances are covered for having outpatient rehab. Now, for our home health side, that is when someone also has something that has occurred in their life that has caused them to have a decline. And it's typically a hospitalization a trip to a skilled nursing facility, and now they're homebound. So with that service, we go out into the community. And once what our service area looks like for the home health side is we cover all of Northern Virginia. So that's Loudoun County, Prince William County, Fairfax County, Arlington, Alexandria. We even go down to Mount Vernon. A lot of people ask us, and yes, we have patients down there as well, because that is a huge span of a service area. Just like with rehab, we do have physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists, but you can also get skilled nursing care if you've got a wound, an IV, you have new medications on board and you need medication management. If you've got a new disease that you've been diagnosed with and you need someone to talk you through what that looks like and educate you more on that. And if you need like a CNA, somebody to come into the house, just, to help you with bathing or dressing once or twice a week. Now, all of these services are 100% covered by Medicare. So if you've got Medicare and we have the order from your doctor that specifies that you have a skilled need, homebound to be in the home, then we will, run your insurance, make sure that's okay. And then we will start you within 48 hours of receiving the order from the hospital or the doctor that recommend that you have that care. And the same as with the in building rehab, we will send clinicians out to evaluate you, look at your prior level of function, what things that you want to do, and work towards those goals. With our rehab and with our home health, if it's under Medicare, our clinicians are the ones to drive how long you get those types of services. But as those of you that have dealt with the managed Medicare and the managed insurances, they're the ones that drive how long we provide those services and that care. And they also drive the discharge. So those are two great components to have, whether you're in the building and you want to, increase, your level of function, being able to do more, get stronger, or if you're in the community, we provide a bridge so that, you can get back to doing your day-to-day.
We've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
One is, does long-term care kick in to cover the cost of the home health and rehabilitation?
It does not kick in to cover the cost, but it does start that clock that Beth was talking about, those 90 days of having a skilled care in the home. So if you have long-term care insurance and you're looking to be able to use it, it does count towards those days of where you can have the funds to cover future care, but it does not cover the rehab or the home health. It's a great question.
Next question is, can you first join at home when you have a need? And if so, is there still no waiting period to use the services?
So yes, once you join Goodwin Living at Home, the day you sign your member agreement is the day you can access services and care. If you decide at some point, we try to keep members as happy as possible in their homes. But if the time comes where either you decide you would like to transition to a Goodwin House community or another community, then we talk about what that looks like in using your benefit.
And the next question is, do both home health and rehab require membership? And what do you have to join to use those services?
So home health, there is no membership needed at all. We will get an order from the hospital when you're discharging or from a doctor's office after you've had a procedure done or the skilled nursing facility that you're staying at. So they will fax us all of the information and we will follow you to your home. And your home is not necessarily in the community. If you're living in a continuing care retirement community, if you're, living in a life plan community, we will come to wherever your residence is. So for the rehab, you do have to be inside of one of our communities and buildings, or have a membership with At Home.
Carrie, I just want to add, we've had lots of our members who have indeed gone from Virginia Hospital Center to one of the Goodwin properties for rehab. Some of them have gone for rehab and we've never seen them again. not in a negative way. They made a very good transition that they needed to make. Took a fall, took a second fall. Living at home wasn't a safe environment anymore. So I know that, the process wise, if you're in the hospital, you're going to have a case manager come in, give you a list of different places you could go, and sit there and say, well, we're discharging you in a couple of hours. Where do you want to go? So I think this idea of becoming familiar with the different rehab facilities that exist in the area, so that if you do get to the point that you're unexpectedly or expectedly in the hospital, that you can make an informed decision on where you're going for your rehab services is important. And one of the reasons why we're doing this presentation today, to get people familiar with options that they have.
And I'm glad you said that, Wendy, because our Goodwin House Alexandria and our Goodwin House Bailey's Crossroads does have a skilled nursing facility. They don't have many beds, so a lot of times they save those for people that do live here. But you're right. If that you get that list of options, just know that if you see us, try to get here, because at least when you get in with Goodwin, you'll get our rehab that's in the building, and then the transition home with our home health, if that's what your choice is. The case managers don't typically choose for you. They might recommend and suggest, but at the end of the day, it is your decision of who you want to provide care once you make those transitions from hospital to home, from skilled nursing, to home, or if you feel like you're just not as strong as you typically are. The choice is always yours. People will always have recommendation, but do your research, ask the questions, because we are amongst hundreds of other organizations and service lines that can offer this. But in my opinion, in my thoughts, we do it well because of the fact that we have so many different avenues that you can go through, and we talk to each other. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to Beth about an at-home member that needs rehab, and making sure that we help to navigate the patient to what is best for them and not necessarily for us. Sometimes people won't be a great fit for us, but we know of other programs that are. We don't drop the ball just because they're not going to follow us. We make sure that they get to a place where they're safe and where they're going to receive the best care.
And I think, Carrie, the other thing you're pointing out is just, if you're going into the hospital for a planned procedure, you can do a lot of this education in advance of the procedure, so that you know where you want to go post-hospital care.
Oh, and once we get those phone calls that somebody says, I'm going to have a hip replacement or a knee replacement, and I want you guys, we are already talking to the case managers. We're following up with the doctors that do the pre-op. We're letting people, we advocate the moment that you choose us. So we let everybody know, what your plans are and what your goals are, so that your wishes will be met.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And now I will turn it over to Eileen for hospice.
Thanks, Carrie and Beth. So I get the pleasure and the privilege to talk about hospice care. Not everybody wants to talk about hospice care, but as you can see, we have this beautiful continuum, so that at the end of life, when you're reaching that level of care, Goodwin can also provide that level of care as well. And it is the next level of care we work very closely with our partners here, Goodwin Living at Home and Goodwin Home Health and Rehabilitation. Quite often, like Carrie said, she's coordinating care with Beth. You know, quite often we are coordinating care with both Beth and Carrie on providing residents within the Goodwin Living organization, the hospice care, but we also provide services out in the community. So I'm going to step back a little bit and just give you a little bit of a background on Goodwin Hospice, because I think, you know, Goodwin Hospice has been one of the best kept secrets in our community. When I joined Goodwin Hospice, not too many people knew that Goodwin Hospice actually provided services out inside the Northern Virginia community. So we were founded in 1998 by the residents of Goodwin Living, at that Goodwin House, Alexandria, and Goodwin House, Bailey's Crossroads. The residents went to the board and said, hey, we want the same people taking care of us day in and day out to also take care of us at end of life. So we did form the hospice group. And from 1998 to 2016, we provided services only within those two life plan communities. So from 2016 on, we actually brought our services out into the Northern Virginia area. Now, we don't have it as extensive service area as home health does, but we do have a pretty good swath of the Northern Virginia area. We certainly do cover all of Arlington. So that's a little bit about that background. I have a great definition. I'm just going to read that of hospice care. So hospice care is a type of health care that focuses on the palliation of a terminally ill patient's pain and symptoms and attending to the emotional and spiritual needs at the end of life. Hospice care prioritizes comfort and quality of life by reducing pain and suffering. So I just think that says a lot about what hospice care is. So for those of you who probably know that Medicare back in 1983 developed and offered a Medicare benefit, and that's pretty much the premise for all Medicare benefits for Medicare, Medicaid, and also commercial carriers. So when you are in hospice, everything that is related to the hospice diagnosis is paid for at 100%. So it's a very robust benefit as well. And not many people understand, you know, all of that it covers. So what does it cover? It covers all your durable medical equipment, such as, you know, hospital beds, oxygen, anything that's needed in the home or in the community that you're in. It also provides all medications that are related to the hospice diagnosis and supplies such as wound supplies and continence supplies. All of that is covered under the Medicare hospice benefit. And then obviously the staff. And the staff it's a large staff that takes care of people. We have a physician, we have a medical director, we have a nurse case manager, we have a social worker that provides obviously services not only to the patient, hospice patient, but also helps with family, with psychosocial issues. We also have a spiritual counselor. We have aides and volunteers. So when you sign up for hospice, that you're getting all of that care. You obviously have options for volunteers and the aides and the chaplain, but the social worker, the nurse, and the medical director is always involved in your care. So I'm going to stop there for a second and just see if anybody has any questions so far.
I do want to bring up one thing to put on my social work hat here is that, you know, people hear the word hospice and they think I'm dying today or tomorrow. Just a reminder that hospice is a Medicare benefit. It is just like your benefit to go to the, you know, you see your primary care physician, to, you know, receive rehab. It is not, and to truly benefit from hospice services, do it as soon as possible. It is truly, I mean, we have hospice graduates, people that I work with who start hospice and then all of a sudden they get what we call a lot of good fluffing and are able to graduate from hospice. But, people think, that day before I'm going to die, my family needs to, or I believe that I'm going to die, my family needs to, initiate hospice. And that's really too late for everyone to benefit. So don't think of it as that I'm going to die, but as a benefit that you've paid into to enjoy.
And we like to say that, really hospice is about living, not dying. Trying to get at the end of your life, getting the most out of your life as possible. There's studies that show that people who have hospice actually live, it's kind of an oxymoron, but actually live longer than people that don't, because you have so much care and support that surrounds you. So thanks, Beth. So we, part of what we do is a lot of education, a lot to the medical community on trying to, have the resident admitted to hospice earlier rather than later. Okay, so the guideline is basically anybody that is at an end stage illness or condition with a prognosis of 6 months or less is eligible for hospice care. We have to receive an order from 2 physicians. One comes from the patient's physician, primary care physician or internist, whoever they're working with. And the other one comes from our medical director. So 2 doctors have to certify eligibility for hospice.
And what happens if someone in hospice lives longer than 6 months?
Oh yeah. We have people that live a lot longer. Basically, there are recertifications. After the patient is admitted, the initial certification happens within the first 60 days. And then it's 90 days and 90 days. Actually, it's the opposite. The initial recertification is 90 days, and then every 60 days. The patient has to be showing signs of decline. Other than that, again, we can have people that they graduate, they get better, they gain weight, they start to feel better. Not to say that they can't be readmitted at the time that they need us again. But certainly we have people that live longer than six months. Mm-hmm.
Do you cover Fairfax County?
For the most part, we do. Where we kind of stop at the Vienna Oakton line. We are not out in the Reston Herndon area right now, and we don't go. We're not in Loudoun County at this point either.
You said somebody has to be showing signs of decline to be recertified. What happens if somebody is still, very, very ill, but they're stable?
Well, stable. Again, I'm not sure. They could be stable, but they can't be getting better.
Okay.
They can't be like gaining weight or walking, or they decide to get up and go on vacation, that type of thing. But as long as they're because there's certain chronic diseases that we know of, like Alzheimer's, dementia is a common one. That's a long trajectory. So people can stay the same for a long period of time. And then the decline could be steep, or the decline could be gradual. Yeah.
Can you clarify again which of the programs you've talked about require a direct agreement with Goodwin Living and which are paid for by Medicare or other third parties?
I think other than Goodwin Living at Home, both home health, rehabilitation, and hospice are covered under Medicare, and other commercial carriers as well. Yeah. So we, with hospice care, we obviously can come into to your home. We have about 50% of our patients right now are in facilities across the Northern Virginia area. So we do work with assisted living communities, nursing home communities, continuing care retirement communities. But we will go, people think of hospice as a place, but hospice is a service, it's not a place. So we will go, we have had nurses that have serviced people in hospice, homeless people that live in their cars. So wherever somebody is where we will go ahead and provide that service. And as for Goodwin Living, as being a non-for-profit, we will not turn anybody away if they don't have the means to pay for hospice. So that's part of the mission of Goodwin Livings as well.
And just so you know, we're about 10 minutes to 11.
Okay.
Um,
So
Eileen,
yes,
can I back up just for a second? And I think it relates a little bit to the question that Pax is asking, because I think people are trying to figure out, you answered it just now for hospice and rehab. Is there a clarification on Goodwin Health? That if someone is in the Goodwin Health program, Goodwin Health becomes their primary care physician, versus, working with your physician that you've had before. And I'm only asking for clarification. That may be a misunderstanding on my part.
Goodwin Hospice or Goodwin Home Health?
Goodwin Home Health. Carrie?
For Goodwin Home Health, you keep your PCP. We don't.
Oh, you do? Okay. great.
Yes, yes. Same thing when moving into the buildings. If you were to move into Goodwin House Alexandria, Goodwin House Bailey's Crossroads, or the View, we do have medical directors, but you do have the right to keep your own doctor.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And sorry to interrupt, Eileen.
And that's fine. No, this is a conversation. That's the same for hospice as well. I mean, our medical director works hand in hand with your physician, your PCP, or your oncologist, or whoever who's providing direct care for you. So so she does not become, a lot of times she's asked to become PCP, but she does not play that role. Yeah. Mhm. Good questions. The other thing I just want to mention, I think it's a really big piece of the hospice benefit, is the bereavement support. So when somebody passes away, the hospice benefit provides 13 months of bereavement support. So you say, why 13 months? Can anybody guess? Not you, Beth. Anybody? So basically it's 13 months to get the family member or the loved one through the whole anniversary of the death of the loved one. So it covers the holidays, and then the anniversary of the death. And we have two beautiful bereavement counselors. They do such good work. They do offer, during the pandemic it was all virtual, but right now they're offering both virtual and in-person sessions. And what they tend to do too is provide services for different audiences. They might do a special session on for a loss of a spouse or loss of a parent. So I always encourage people to really take advantage of that benefit. The other thing, we provide reciprocity. So, for example, my dad passed away in a hospice in Florida. I was eligible to receive bereavement support under our hospice care. So don't ever think that, because you didn't use Goodwin, if you're really looking for that grief support and bereavement support, that we can help you with that. We'll be more than happy to offer our services to you. So I think that's a really beautiful benefit of the hospice as well. So anybody can make a referral. Again, we would need a physician's order, but anybody can call and request information. Our team of social workers and nurses are available to go out and do informational visits. We have relationships with the hospitals. We have credentialed at Virginia Hospital Center. So oftentimes the case manager that's working with the patient in the hospital we'll ask if we can come in and talk to the family or talk to the patient about our services. And we're more than willing to do that with or without a commitment. So I'm gonna end with another quote. If I can find it here. Maybe I'm not. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so Dame Cicely Sanders, she was basically the founder of hospice. I don't know if you guys, that name rings a bell, but what we like to say is hospice is about life, that you matter because you are you, and you matter to the end of your life. We will do all we can, not only to help you die peacefully, but also to live until you die. So I think that kind of sums it up. Any other questions?
I know we had a lot of questions through the chat, and so much appreciate your willingness to be interrupted.
Oh, yeah, no,
So
that's,
that we could ask questions.
yeah, no, we're happy to do that, really. And again, we appreciate Wendy the opportunity. You know, if anybody, if Beth or Carrie and I can in any way help you, feel free. I did not put a slide in there for our contact information, but I can send that to you, Wendy.
Yes,
And
please do.
you could pass it on. Mhm.
And again, you know, on our website, under the sponsor page
Yeah.
with our corporate sponsors, the Goodwin Living logo is there, and it's also a link to the site in case anybody needs to, you know, have it at hand. I have to tell you that this is unrelated to the substance of what you just talked about, but I love, love, love your logo. Having gone through this process here, you know, over the last couple of months, the fact that you've got this different color for each of the different components, and then when you bring it all together for Goodwin Living, it's this rainbow of colors. It's makes me very jealous.
It's beautiful, and I will share with you. It was quite a process. So but this is how thoughtful it was done. This is so typical of Goodwin Living. So every service line was presented with different colors. Those different colors. And we all had the opportunity to sit down with the marketing communications team, and what they presented. I know this was the process with hospice. I'm assuming it was with home health and at home. Is so we looked at a color, and they were able to give us like the spiritual qualities, talking about what that color was and how that might represent the service line that we provide. And I just thought that was a great way of going about it. Yeah.
Well, they did a beautiful job.
Good. Thank you for that. I'll pass that along. Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's impactful. I think people see it. Connie, I see you've got your hand up.
Friend go to the View, then called Hermitage, just about 1 year ago with memory problems. And I and all of her friends think the care has been fantastic. And she's doing a lot better than she was. She's happier. She gets her meds every day, which, you know, she would forget. And we just love going over there. It has seemed like such a happy place.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, Connie, for that.
Yeah.
Pass that along as well. Mhm.
And I'm going to affirm for everybody, people have the opportunity to shop. We've had members who've gone multiple times for lunch at one of the Goodwin facilities, going on a tour, staying for lunch. We've had members and volunteers that have gone together just to get a feel for the place, ask what's going on, etc. I know that you've started a bocce team, and Gary could speak to this. Our bocce team has met with your bocce team. I think there's some kind of league that might be forming up. Who knows?
I feel there's a little competition going on here.
Right. I mean, as much as we talk about all of this, we love each other, lovey-dovey stuff. You know, there's a degree of competition that we also need. So maybe we'll put all our competition into the bocce world.
That'd be great.
We will be. I know that Dolores is asking whether non-A and B members can have access to this session. We are going to be, the Goodwin people were kind enough to let Gary record this presentation. And of course, we've got Eileen's slides. We will be putting it up on our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is linked from our website. So anyone who goes to visit our website on Coffee and Conversation they'll see the YouTube channel up on top. They'll be able to click on it. If there's challenges with people getting to it, they can just reach out to us and talk to the office. We'll make it easier and more useful to them. But the intention here is to share information more broadly than the folks who are just able to join us on the conversation today.
That's great. Spread the word, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions from anybody? Well, great.
Okay.
We're ending on time. I put a
Great.
couple of ads in the chat. We've got board games tomorrow, happy hour tomorrow. The men's lunch is going to be October 14th. I know that's a date that's been going back and forth. They're going to be at Friday, the 14th at SIR, and the ladies are going to be the 21st at Ruz Us. And I'm not going to drill down on what that is. We'll have more information on it in the October 15th newsletter. But thank you, everybody. Connie's clapping. I didn't know whether Connie had raised her hand. Yes, we all want to say thank you very much. I want to welcome our Alexandria at Home neighbors who joined us on this presentation. I think both of our organizations want to make our coffee and conversations widely available to each other so that we can all take advantage of our speakers and the time that you've given us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Wendy, and my colleagues. Thank you for being here. And everybody have I'm headed out on a 2-week vacation, so I'll see you back in October, end of October sometime. Take care now.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.